particularly the point that I'm picking up is that, often people are looking at these games, for example, the gaming world as well, it's not the normal world. But as you know, nowadays, as more and more we become digital and we start to do everything in the online space, it is a normal world, or at least for a great proportion of the population, it is becoming a normal world. So your perspectives on obviously what already is being shared and at this particular point?
I think it's always good to look at data. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, but they are gamers. When you look, for instance, at Canada, in Canada, you have like 7 out of 10 adults playing video games in some form. And the average age for a gamer is almost like 38 years old. So they're not, teenagers necessarily playing video games, but we have so many new forms of games. Like, for instance, everybody have heard of Pokemon Go, which was, one new way to explore and interact with other people. That was a highly social game, even though it was not necessarily directly included day one in the game, but people were building a network around this and exchanging ideas and how to capture certain Pokemons. So I thought it was a very interesting experiment. The thing I kind of also liked about what was said is how people, especially younger folks, really use this technology to develop new skills, but also to develop their own personality. I think there is today a big idea around how do I project myself in the virtual space. And you may think of Instagram, for instance, and you have your self-reflection in the virtual worlds, and this is how people see you. And this is why we use filters. This is how we want to present ourselves. And I think it's also a good thing that people start to realize that this is how they're being seen. It's a very good skill to have, in the workplace, to know how to manage the way you behave in a social group. So I see this in a very positive light.
So that's very interesting that you mentioned that what you're saying in other words is that because of the skills you're achieving in playing these kind of games, especially in communal communities, you're developing skills which are needed as we become more and more digitized as a society. So the workplace, or whether it is your entertainment areas, or whether it is even e-commerce and stuff, all of these skills are intertransferable.
For sure. And when people play, they tend to show a little bit more of their personality. As part of my recruiting process, and I hired probably over 400 people over my career, I would almost always spend at least 30 minutes playing a video game with the person. That was, proper, since I was working in the video game industry. But it's always a good way to see the different types of people. And there is a very interesting author named Bartle. And he talks about the different types of players you may find in the game. You have the killers, the achievers, the socializers, the explorers. And everybody is a little bit of all of this in certain proportion. And they tend to behave in a certain archetype when they interact through play with other human beings. And I think this is a great way to, offer a new way of communication.